Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. My humble obeisances to all the devotees at ISKCON Tobacco. I seek blessings from all the senior devotees here. Today, Hare Krishna. Today we will discuss on this topic given by this boy. How to see Krishna's hand in all circumstances, how to understand Krishna's plans. Sometimes they are too inconceivable. Still, we need to accept those plans. How? Let's see. We learn what to do and what not to do by observing the activities of great souls. When we hear the activities of great devotees like Prahlad Maharaj or Parikshit Maharaj or Dhruva Maharaj or Devaki Vasudev, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mata, or the Gopis of Vrindavan, the Gopas of Vrindavan, or any other exalted devotees, or our acharyas like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and Srila Prabhupada. We get to understand what to do and what not to do. The do's and don'ts, the prescriptions and prohibitions, the expected Vaishnava behavior and the things that we need to avoid in our spiritual life. So all these we'll be able to understand just by learning from great souls. Srimad Bhagavatam instructs us not only by presenting the Siddhanta, not only by presenting the philosophy, but Bhagavatam also teaches us through very sweet pastimes, very wonderful pastimes of so many great souls. Pastimes of the Lord are there definitely. Krishna performed so many pastimes. Krishna's several other forms, the incarnations of the Lord, like Narasimhadev, Varaha, Vamana, Matsya, Kurma, Rama, Parashurama. So all these divine avatars also, through their activities, give us so many lessons. But the devotees of the Lord also give us so many lessons. Sometimes the devotees, through their activities, give us positive lessons or teach us certain things that we need to adopt in our practice of spiritual life. And we also get other messages on what to avoid in bhakti by observing some mistakes of devotees. Sometimes devotees also make mistakes, and definitely demoniac people and materialistic people make so many mistakes. By going through the descriptions of these mistakes done by these great souls, we can understand what not to do. Actually, Bhagavatam begins with a description of what Vyasadeva has done. Vyasadeva has written so many Puranas. Vyasadeva has written so many Upanishads, Vedas, even Mahabharata. And he was feeling very dissatisfied, despondent. Then Narada Muni came and said, Jugupsitam karma kritva. Oh Vyasadeva, you have done such an abominable activity. What is that abominable activity that Vyasadeva has done? With a deep compassionate spirit, Vyasadeva has written the Vedas and Puranas and Upanishads and Mahabharata and Vedanta Sutra just so that the people of Kali Yuga will get some insights and inputs on how to lead a meaningful and purposeful life, isn't it? But what to do? Narada Muni is chastising, his guru is chastising Vyasadeva that you have done an abominable activity, Jugupsitam karma kritva. How do we understand this? Actually, Vyasadeva has not done a mistake. His intention was very pure. But somehow, all the works that Vyasadeva had written before he met Narada Muni were overly emphasizing on 4 Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Narada Muni says, oh Vyasadeva, already people are inclined towards sense gratification. And now that you have written so many scriptures emphasizing on how to attain higher grade of sense gratification, and you have presented so many karmakandic sections also in your scriptures, where people do some japa, vrata, tapa, homa, and attain some higher enjoyment in the Swarga Loka. So people will quote you now. Because Vyasadeva has written these books, it's bona fide. Then after about few thousands of years, seeing that people are like misusing certain karmakandic portions of the scriptures and killing animals in the name of sacrifices, Lord Vishnu has to come in the form of Lord Buddha and say, I reject these Vedas. You know that? Nindasi yagna vidhe hahaha shruti jatam sadaya hridaya darshita pashu ghatam keshava dharita buddha sharira jaya jagadisha hare. Nindasi yagna vidhe. Yagna vidhis means there are so many rules and regulations mentioned in the scriptures about conducting sacrifices. And some of those sacrifices also involve animal sacrifices. So, nindasi yagna vidhe. So, all these vidhis or the prescriptions of conducting sacrifices are mentioned in Shrutis, scriptures, offered to this humanity by Vyasadeva. And people are seeing those karmakandic portions and killing animals like anything. And the Lord became very compassionate upon these animals. Sadaya hridaya darshita pashu ghatam. He became very compassionate upon these animals who are being sacrificed, killed in the name of sacrifices. So the Lord appeared in the form of Buddha. Keshava dharita buddha sharira jaya jagadisha hare. Buddha came and said, I reject these Vedas if these Vedas are prescribing these animal sacrifices. I don't want these Vedas. Then, after that, Vedic authority is re-established. So, point is, Vyasadeva has written so many scriptures to cater to the needs of different kinds of human beings. Some are in Rajogun, some are in Tamogun, some are in Sattvagun, to cater to the needs of all these categories of people who are influenced by different material modes. Vyasadeva has written so many Puranas, so many scriptures. However, Narada Muni's expectation is, oh Vyasadeva, your welfare work should not stop at this point only. You should also present something which is purely devotional, which is beyond the 3 modes. Well, many Puranas that you have written are within the purview of Sattvagun, Rajogun, Tamogun. Even the Vedas are also mostly in the purview of Rajogun, Tamogun, Sattvagun. Like Krishna also says, Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigundyo Bhavarjuna. Traigunya Vishaya Veda. The Vishaya, the subject matter of Vedas, is very much under the purview of Traigunya, Sattva Rajas Tamo Gunas. Nistraigunyo Bhavarjuna, please go above these Vedic injunctions of karmakandic stuff. So Narada Muni also told something similar to Vyasadeva. Please write something beyond the three modes. Then Vyasadeva wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? So through this conversation between Narada Muni and Vyasadeva, which lasted for almost 3 chapters, the 4th, 5th and 6th chapters of the 10th canto, the first canto of Bhagavatam, what do we understand? We understand what not to do, and we understand what to do. We understand what has to be given more importance. Bhakti has to be given utmost importance, and this karma kanda, gnana kanda, all these different kinds of sacrifices, tapasya, which are non-devotional or which are under the purview of 3 material modes, must be avoided. That's the message we get. So by going through different episodes of Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, what to adopt, what to avoid. We'll understand by going through the activities of great souls. Narada Muni, in his past life, he was the son of a maid servant. Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Bhagavan ki Jai. Narada Muni was a son of maid servant in his past life. Why did he become the son of a maid servant? Because in the previous life, he was a Gandharva. His name was Upabarhana. And he was very handsome. He had so many girls around him. And he was living life very lavishly, luxuriously, just enjoying sense gratification, material pleasures. And one day the great Prajapatis in the upper planets, they organized a Sankirtan festival, a festival to celebrate the glories of the Lord. And this Upabarhana went along with some girls to that event, a spiritual event, and in that spiritual gathering he is singing some mundane songs, materialistic songs. So seeing this, all the Prajapatis became very upset. They cursed Upabarhana. You are behaving like an uncultured person. May you become a Shudra. So they cursed him. And that's how he became the son of a maid servant in a very poor family. But he showed good culture in front of these sages, Bhaktivedanta sages, and eventually he developed Prema Bhakti and he became Narada Muni. That story you know. So, what is the lesson that we learn here? Narada Muni, in one of his previous lives, because he misbehaved in front of great souls, he was cursed to fall down from Gandharva Loka to Bhuloka. But as the son of a maid servant, because he demonstrated very good culture and good behavior and etiquette in front of Bhaktivedanta sages, he was elevated to the position of being Narada Muni. You see. So here we understand through Narada Muni's life also what to do and what not to do. Similarly, there are so many great personalities who have done so many great deeds and so many mistakes also. From Vyasadeva we understand the spirit of compassion. You have to do something for the welfare of common people. You need to understand and imbibe the spirit of compassion. Vyasadeva teaches this. And also the story of Vyasadeva teaches us that we should prioritize Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is most important. This Karma Kanda, Gnana Kanda is not ultimately spiritually beneficial to all of us. So these are some lessons that we learn. Now, one prominent lesson that we can see throughout Srimad Bhagavatam and even other scriptures is how some of these great souls accepted everything that happened in their life as a plan of Krishna. as Krishna's decision. So we need to have that ability to accept things as Krishna's will. Not that we commit mistake and say, I committed mistake because of Krishna's will. It is Krishna's plan. I'm an instrument in his plan. Yes, we are instruments, definitely. But Krishna has given us some independence also. Some svecha, some minute independence also. Freedom, free will. So we need to utilize that free will appropriately and do good things. Choose only good things and reject bad things. But if we misuse that free will and consciously and deliberately choose bad things and avoid good things, then we'll have to suffer the consequences. That is not exactly Krishna's plan. Yeah, it's happening by Krishna's sanction because Krishna created a system. If you make good choices, this is the destiny. If you make bad choices, this is the destiny. So, whether you suffer because of bad choices or enjoy because of good choices, ultimately it's happening under the umbrella of Krishna's plan only. Therefore, our happiness and suffering both are Krishna's plan. In that sense, correct. But we are responsible. Just because suffering or happiness are orchestrated by Krishna himself, that does not mean we don't take any responsibility. We have to take some responsibility. Right? But today, let's discuss a deeper topic where you utilize your minute independence in a very appropriate way and reasonable way. And you consciously make only good choices in life. You choose to follow the right kind of teachings of scriptures. You try your best to avoid all bad things, all evil behavior. Still, you may encounter suffering. At that time, what is your mood? How should we accept that situation? And I only chose good. I never chose bad. But why bad is happening to me? That is Krishna's will. After you do everything humanly possible to avoid inauspiciousness and adopt auspiciousness, still if there is something inauspicious or something unpleasant happening in your life, please understand that it is Krishna's will. So how to see Krishna's hand in all circumstances in life? Let us try to meditate on this important lesson by going through some episodes of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, ready? Let's begin with first canto. We already spoke Narada Muni's example. We saw his 3 lives. Let's go a little deep into his second life. That is the son of a maid servant. So during the monsoon season, some sages, named Bhaktivedanta sages, came to the area where this maid servant was living. She was working in a Gurukul, in a school. So some sages came there and they decided to stay there only throughout this monsoon season. 4 months. Because it's raining so much, let's not travel, let's sit here and discuss some Krishna Katha and do some our puja. So they decided like that and they stayed there. And this maid servant got an opportunity to serve all these great souls. And the maid servant's 5-year-old child, this boy, he also got an opportunity to see them, associate with them and do little service. What service can a small 5-year-old child do? They must have asked for some flowers, he would go and then get some flowers, some ingredients for worship, some grasses. And he would do all that. And he will sit next to them and he is hearing what they are discussing. Sometimes kids hear more attentively than adults also. Here is a 5-year-old child. Although these Bhaktivedanta sages are not exactly discussing some children topics. They are discussing very mature, elevated, highly philosophical subject matters and some Krishna Katha. This boy is able to sit there and hear sincerely. Very sincerely he was hearing. and he would bring prasadam for them, and they eat something, and something is left. He will ask them, "Can I eat this?" "Yeah, why not eat?" That's how he got their Mahaprasad also. So this boy would eat the Mahaprasad of the sages, and that's how 4 full months he got very close association of all these great Bhaktivedanta sages. And because of their association, he is developing bhakti. And Bhagavatam also describes, Sutta Goswami describes, Narada Muni himself describes his past life. As a 5-year-old child, also, he was not at all inclined to any games or sports. He was not talkative. He was very calm, composed, silent, very sober, very disciplined, very attentive in hearing. And he has great service attitude. And because of his good behavior, all the sages of these Bhaktivedanta sages became so impressed with this child, and they showered their deep blessings, heartfelt blessings on this child. And slowly, this 5-year-old child is undergoing a great transformation. From Shraddha, he came to the level of Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, the Nishtha, Asakti, Ruchi, Bhava, Prema. He is just going through all these stages, and within 4 months only, he almost came to the stage of Prema. And before leaving, these Bhaktivedanta sages instructed him, initiated him in the path of Bhakti Yoga, and they left. 4 months is over. Monsoon is over. They continued their travels. They were traveling preachers. So Narada Muni, this as a 5-year-old child, he continued to stay with his mother. And the mother, as usual, she is going to different homes and doing some service and getting some livelihood and trying to maintain the child. And this boy and mother, only 2 people were there. There is no mention of the father there. There is no mention of any other relatives or in-laws, nobody. Only mother and 5-year-old child. And this boy is completely dependent on the mother, and mother has all her affection towards the child only. There is no one else in their life. One day this mother went to milk a cow in the evening time. But unexpectedly, one poisonous snake came and bit her leg. And she died on the spot. Then Narada Muni, as a 5-year-old child now, he lost his mother. The only protector is gone now. Now how to see Krishna's hand in these circumstances? Very difficult. This boy at the age of 5, he demonstrated such great behavior, such sweet behavior, disciplined demeanor, and he received instructions from the Bhaktivedanta sages. He became so elevated in his bhakti, in his devotion. He came to prema stage also, but suddenly the Lord is giving such a intense material calamity to this child, taking away his only protector, only maintainer, the mother. This boy did some service. What about his mother? His mother also must have done some service, right? In fact, the mother must have done more service than this child. If a 5-year-old child can do so much service to this Bhaktivedanta sages, how much more service the mother must have done? But although she has done so much seva, the Lord has killed her. Without the Lord's sanction, not a blade of grass moves, we say. Without the Lord's sanction, the snake also will not bite this woman. So she died on the spot. Now you may see that how can the Lord make such cruel plans? How can the Lord take away the only protector of this child? How can the Lord kill or cause the death of this simple, humble lady untimely with a snake bite? The Lord could have given some extra concession to this family, knowing their condition. But Prabhupada writes in that purport, 1st canto, 6th chapter, you read 6, 7, 8, 9, these 4 shlokas, and in one of these purports, I think 9th purport, Prabhupada writes, as soon as the shloka described that Narada Muni is mother died, immediately Prabhupada writes, this is the way of dragging a sincere soul towards the lotus feet of Krishna. What is the way? By killing mother? This is the way of dragging a sincere soul towards the lotus feet of Krishna. Now let's analyze this. Apparently it's a great material calamity. This boy became an orphan, he has no protector, and that innocent lady died. But see, on a spiritual plane, what's happening? After the death of his mother, this boy did not get so overwhelmed by this undesirable or unexpected calamity in his life. He just left that place, continued his travels. He went to different places, different cities and villages and forests and towns and jungles. And on the way he's meditating on the Lord. He was just implementing all the instructions given to him by the Bhaktivedanta sages. And he was meditating on the Lord. And eventually he came to a small jungle. He became very thirsty. He saw some water there. He drank some water. And he started meditating on the Lord. Deep meditation. Dhyayataha charanam bhojam bhava nirjita chetasa. So with intense emotions, he was meditating on the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. And eventually, when his meditation became even more intensified, he could see the form of Lord Vishnu within his heart. He got darshan. He became so happy. Premati bhara nirbhinna pulakango ashru nirvitaha means prema ati bhara, because of the intensity of his prema, love for the Lord. Pulakango, his hairs were standing on it. Ashru, his eyes were shedding tears of love and affection, seeing the beautiful form of the Lord. But unfortunately, he lost that darshan. He just lost that darshan. Again he closed his eyes, he continued to meditate on the Lord. He followed the same process of meditation. With great intensity he was meditating on the Lord, but he lost the vision of the Lord. He is unable to see the Lord. No second darshan. And he is intensely meditating. Then the Lord started speaking him. He could not be heard. He could not be seen, but he could be heard. And the Lord spoke to this boy. My dear child, no more darshans for you in this lifetime. No more darshans for you. Because you are not completely purified of all your material taints. Actually, already 5-year-old child. What impurities does he have? He has no impurity. He has no material taints. But still, to increase his humility, the Lord said, till you are completely purified, I will not give you darshan anymore. You know what you are supposed to do? Continue to chant my names. Continue to meditate on me. Continue to remember me. Without any envy, without any pride, just move around in this world. So this is how the Lord spoke to this boy. And actually, by this time, this boy already came to the stage of prema bhakti. But why did the Lord not give him darshan? The answer is, although this boy got the level of prema, his prema is an infancy stage. So the Lord wanted this infant prema to become youthful prema. An infant may be a human being. A youth also may be a human being. But there is a difference in their levels of strength, isn't it? So the Lord wanted that prema in his heart to be more and more developed, more mature, more youthful, where he can express it. At that stage he can see the Lord whenever he wants. Narada Muni, he can see the Lord whenever he wants. So Narada Muni continued his process and Naman Yanantascha Shonkitanyat. Sorry, what is that shloka? Okay, he was chanting the holy names of the Lord constantly. And eventually he gave up that body and he became Narada Muni. So after this mother's death, this child became Narada Muni. And what happened to the mother? Because she did so much service to the Bhaktivedanta sages just before her death, she must have gone back to Godhead. Even if she had not gone back to Godhead, she would have got another opportunity in the next life to continue her bhakti practice, probably in a much, much better situation. Now that she is struggling so much, she is in so much pain, she is a maid servant, just for livelihood, just to fill her belly, she had to go to different homes and work so hard. So the Lord cleared that kind of poor situation for her and kept her in a different condition. Only two possibilities. She will not go to hell, 100% sure. Right? So this is very, very striking example of accepting the will of the Lord, of seeing the Lord's hand in all circumstances. At the age of 5, this boy had the maturity to see Krishna's hand in this circumstance where his only protector, the mother, died. So we need to understand the Lord's plan. It's not, this death did not happen because of Narada Muni's mistakes. Say if some calamity comes in our life because of our own mistake, you can take responsibility, you can rectify that mistake. You can understand that, oh, I have not utilized my common sense or my intelligence or my minute independence properly. Therefore, I ended up in this calamity. Let me not blame the Lord for this difficulty. Let me take responsibility and let me rectify that mistake. Let me avoid this difficulty in future. This is a good thought process. But some calamities come in our life without our mistakes. Did the boy kill the mother? Not at all. The boy is innocent. Still, a difficulty came to him without his mistake. His mother died. That means the Lord has arranged it. The Lord has personally orchestrated this difficulty in his life and made him more serious in bhakti. Right? And when the mother died, she also must have gone to a position where she continues her practice of bhakti. That's amazing. So spiritually speaking, both the son and the mother were given such special privilege to continue their bhakti. On a spiritual plane, they only received mercy. On a material plane, yes, they were separated. There's so much pain. But on a spiritual plane, the Lord has uplifted both of them to a higher realms of spiritual consciousness, higher realms of bhakti, gave them better spiritual privileges. This is spiritual vision. When we are overwhelmed by the material pleasures or pains, then either we become proud or envious. Either we become complacent or we complain. Oh, I have not done any mistake in my life. Why did the Lord create such a great calamity in my life? The Lord doesn't exist. He's not hearing my japa. I'm chanting 16 notes every day. Looks like he's not very much aware of how many rounds I'm chanting every day. He's not hearing my prayers. We don't hear our japa, but we expect the Lord to hear our japa. Although Prabhupada said so many times, when you're chanting, you hear attentively. We don't hear, but we want the Lord to hear. Krishna, are you hearing my japa or not? Are you hearing? That's different. Even if I fail to hear, you should hear attentively. Because you are very powerful, I am not so powerful. So sometimes when there is unexpected calamity or difficulty, we may tend to even blame the Lord also. Why did the Lord create this calamity to me? Why me? When some happiness happens in our life, we don't say, why me? Why so much have happiness to me only? Why so much mercy to me only? We say, Krishna, thank you very much for giving me this mercy. I deserve it, of course. You can give me more. So that's our outlook. When pleasure comes, then we think we deserve it. When pain comes, we think we don't deserve it. That's the problem. When pleasure, when some success happens in life, then we may thank the Lord sometimes, or we may forget to thank the Lord also. But when failure comes, definitely we'll blame the Lord. We'll not forget to blame the Lord sometimes or many times. But advanced spiritualists, mature devotees, don't complain against the Lord. They see hand of the Lord in all circumstances, whether it is success or failure, victory or defeat, pleasure or pain, happiness or distress, heat or cold, summer or winter, honor or dishonor, respect or disrespect. While experiencing all kinds of dualities, the devotees acknowledge the Lord. Right? They don't blame the Lord. They only thank the Lord. Because on a material plane, pain is pain, pleasure is also pain. But on spiritual plane, pleasure is pleasure, pain is also pleasure. Right? So when we elevate our consciousness to spiritual plane, then even pains will be perceived as pleasure by advanced spiritualists. Even though we undergo some painful circumstance, we can effortlessly understand that it is God sent, it is arranged by the Lord, and let us just gratefully accept it for our own purification. That's the perspective of a devotee. Even if devotee experiences so many difficulties and pains in life. So this boy gives us a very important message. He did not blame the Lord. On the other hand, when Chitraketu Maharaj's son died, you know that story? I will not repeat. How many of you know the story of Chitraketu Maharaj? Please raise your hand. Chitraketu Maharaj had 1 crore wives. He was the original Karodpati. Right? So, but out of 1 crore wives, only one wife gave birth to a child. Remaining 99,99,999 wives did not have a child. What should they do ideally? They should see this child as her child only, as their child. But instead of seeing like that, these people have poisoned the child. And their mother Kritadyuti realized that, oh, my child is gone now. Then she started crying. Till that point it's fine, it's natural. The next step is she started blaming Krishna. Krishna, why did you kill my child? During the lifetime of a father, how can the child die? That was her complaint. You are behaving like an inexperienced child because you have killed my child. So in calamity, this mature queen blamed Krishna. But in a similar calamity, this 5-year-old child thanked Krishna. This child lost his mother and this mother lost her child. But see the mother's consciousness here, see the child's consciousness here. Got it? We are just comparing Narada Muni's life and Kritadyuti's life. Kritadyuti lost her son, but she blasphemed the Lord. She lost faith in the Lord. She became very cynical, inimical. But in this case, this Narada Muni in his past life, this 5-year-old child, lost his mother, but he understood, my Lord is so merciful that he must have given a better spiritual destination to my mother, and he wants me to become more serious in my spiritual life without any external attachments or distractions. He continued his bhakti. He became so elevated as Narada Muni, the guru of so many pure devotees like Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruva Maharaj and many others. This is spiritual outlook. This is spiritual vision. When we have spiritual vision, we will not be overwhelmed by material happiness or material distress. Ultimately, the entire process of Bhakti Yoga is meant to elevate us to spiritual consciousness, spiritual intelligence, where we see everything that's happening in life, whether it is pain or pleasure, as Krishna's personal intervention in life. We have our responsibility to behave according to the instructions of Krishna, and we take responsibility for some difficulties that we experience when we misuse our independence. But when we behave properly, when we use our independence properly, still if we experience calamities without our mistakes, just accept it as Krishna's decisions. Accept them as Krishna's ways of purifying us, purifying our consciousness. Let us not blame the Lord. Let me give another example. Let's go to, let's stay in first canto of Bhagavatam only. Within first canto only we will find so many examples. Say, let's take another example from the first canto. Pandavas, they lost their kingdom in this gambling match. Right? Oh, if to describe that gambling match, my God, we have to spend a lot of time, but I will not describe. There's so many emotions there. But they lost their kingdom. They went on 13 years of exile. They came back. And finally, Duryodhan said, I will not give their kingdom back. And war was inevitable. And Pandavas had to fight. And they won the war also. But now, Yudhishthira Maharaj became so overwhelmed with sorrow. He said, he said, just to enthrone me as the king of Hastinapur, hundreds and thousands of soldiers had to lay down their lives. I became the cause of the death of hundreds of people in this battlefield, thousands of people. What will happen to their children? What will happen to their wives or other family members or elderly family members? These young soldiers lost their lives and their families became affected by it. And I am responsible for it. Even if I conduct hundreds of sacrifices, I will not be able to destroy my sin. So he was feeling so bad. Yudhishthira Maharaj was feeling very repentant, guilty. Then Krishna personally tried to pacify him. Yudhishthira Maharaj, why are you owning the whole guilt? You fought for dharma. It is Duryodhan who has taken away your kingdom by illegal means, by cheating means. Now you just reclaimed that kingdom so nicely. You reclaimed the kingdom by nicely fighting in the war. You did not do any cheating like he did. He took away your kingdom by cheating means, but you took your kingdom back by fighting courageously like a kshatriya. Why are you unnecessarily feeling guilty? And he tried to convince him. Vyasdev tried to convince him. Dhaumya tried to convince Yudhishthira Maharaj, but Yudhishthira is still crying. Then Krishna took Yudhishthira Maharaj to whom? Bhishma Dev. Then Bhishma started speaking. Aho kashtam aho nyayam yadyuyam dharma nandana jivitam narhata klishtam vipra dharmachyutashrayah. Aho kashtam. Oh Yudhishthir, oh Pandavas, you went through so many difficulties, kashtam. And you went through anyayam also. Anyayam means injustice. Kashtam means difficulty. What's the difference between difficulty and injustice? Kashtam and anyayam. Kashtam comes on its own many times. Or kashtam can come. Difficulty can come because of our mistakes also. Or even without mistakes also difficulties can come. But anyayam is when somebody deliberately causes you difficulty. Purposely, on purpose, wantedly when somebody tries to harm you, that is anyayam. Difficulty may not be injustice always. Injustice causes great difficulty, but injustice is done by somebody to harm you. That's what Duryodhan did to the Pandavas. So Pandavas experienced both flavors of difficulties. So many difficulties and so many injustices also. Somebody is trying to pull you down politically, diplomatically, hypocritically, manipulating the situations and sidelining you or harming you or attacking you. This is injustice. So Pandavas experienced both. And others, if anyone else is there in their situation, maybe they could not survive. Jivitam narhata klishtam. Amidst all these calamities, common people would not survive, but you survived, Pandavas. How did they survive? Vipra dharmachyut ashrayah. Because they have taken shelter of Vipra, Dharma and Achyuta. Vipra means Brahmanas. In our case, they are Vaishnavas. Dharma means general virtues, but in our case, this Dharma is Bhagavata Dharma, which is Bhakti Yoga. Achyuta means Krishna himself. Vipra, Dharma, Achyuta, Ashrayaha. Because you have taken shelter of Vipra, Dharma and Achyuta, you are protected. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to survive through difficulty, through all these calamities. Then he continued to say that Yatra dharma suto raja gada panirvrkodaraha Krishnos trigandivam chapam suhrut Krishnastato vipat. Yatra Dharmasuto Raja. There, Dharmasuta, Yudhishthira Maharaj is there. Gadapanir Vrukodara, where Vrukodara, this Bhima is there. Then Krishnostri Gandivam Chapam, this Krishna refers to Arjuna. Arjuna with a Gandiva bow is there. How can there be calamity? On top of it, Suhrut Krishna. Krishna is also present as their direct well-wisher. Even when Krishna is personally, physically present next to you as your direct well-wisher and guide and messenger and chariot driver, etc., still there are some difficulties. Suhrit Krishna tato vipat. Still there are difficulties. Even in Krishna's personal presence, pure devotees like the Pandavas were undergoing tremendous amount of calamities, difficulties, injustices. They never blamed Krishna. Did you ever see Pandavas blaming Krishna? Did you ever see Kunti blaming Krishna? Did you ever see Uttara blaming Krishna? Did you ever see Draupadi blaming Krishna? On top of it, Kunti Mata says, Krishna, give me more calamities. Vipadaha santu taha shashvat tatra tatra jagadguru bhavato darshanam yasyata punarbhava darshanam. So she says, please, give me more calamities. That is her gratitude. So the essential message here is, Pandavas went through so many difficulties. Every time they accepted it as Krishna's plan. Despite knowing that by Krishna's plan, Krishna's arrangement only they went through so many difficulties, they never blamed Krishna. If you know that Krishna arranged difficulties in your life, what will you do? You will complain? You will blame Krishna? At least you will question. You may not blame, but at least you will go, Krishna, why? Why you love me so much that you are giving me so many difficulties in life? At least that thought will come in the mind, right? But even that thought never came in their minds. And when Yudhishthira is lamenting like this, oh, because of me so many people died, instead of thinking that, oh, finally I got my kingdom, he is thinking, because of me so many people died. I am attached to the kingdom. That was his consciousness. This is the mood of a devotee. Sometimes this kind of mood, if someone exhibits in our circles, we think them as sentimentalists, fools, overly emotional. We may think like that. But see the consciousness of Yudhishthira Maharaj. He is taking responsibility. He is not attached to kingdom. He did it because it was his dharma. After doing it, he was getting overwhelmed. Then our Bhishma had to pacify him. You know what Bhishma said next? He said, Tasmadidam daiva tantram. Please understand it. Please understand, O Yudhishthira Maharaj, this is daiva tantram. What is daiva tantram? It's the plan of the Lord. It's the inconceivable plan of the Lord. All the difficulties you faced and your survival amidst all those difficulties and this war and your victory, everything is orchestrated by Krishna. You went through so many unpleasant circumstances in your life and you went through so many pleasant circumstances also, and now you became finally victorious and you regained your kingdom. All this is planned by the Lord. He wanted to establish Dharma Raj on the throne of Hastinapur. Just accept it. This is what Bhishma Dev says. Tasmadidam daivatantram. This is daivatantra. Accept this plan. Enjoy the kingdom. Not just enjoy, serve your citizens. And further he says, after saying Tasmadidam daivatantram statement, he further says that Yesha vai Bhagavan Sakshat Adyo Narayana Puman. He says the personality who is standing here, Krishna, is the Adi of Narayana. He is the origin of Narayana. He also says, Yadvijignasaya yukta muhyanti kavayopihi. To understand Krishna's plans, even great kavis, philosophers, scholars, they also get bewildered. In their attempts to understand Krishna's plans, even great philosophers also get bewildered. So, accept his plan. You may not be able to understand and analyze. Sometimes you may get an explanation from an acharya on why Krishna did what he did. But sometimes we may not be able to understand Krishna's plan. Whether we understand Krishna's plan or don't understand Krishna's plan, we have to accept Krishna's plans. They're inconceivable, just accept it. Have faith. Why did Krishna make this plan? For my purification. Sometimes Krishna may have to orchestrate something very unpleasant in our lives so that we are purified of our anarthas. If there is some calamity in our life, please understand, we are exhausting our bad karma. If there is prosperity in our life, understand, we are exhausting our good karma. Karma, whether it is good or bad, it has to be eradicated. We have to come out of this karma platform and come to the spiritual platform of pure bhakti. Tasmadidam daivatantram. Accept it. Execute it. Enjoy. Enjoy executing Krishna's inconceivable plans. Sarvam kalakritam manye bhavatam chayata priyam sapalo yadvashe loko vayo rivaghana. Sarvam kalakritam manye. In this series of shlokas, Bhishma also says that everything is orchestrated by time. Bhavatam cha yata priyam. Even all the unpleasant situations in your life are orchestrated by time. And he gives a beautiful analogy, comparison. When wind blows in the sky, clouds are driven away by the wind. Cloud has no free will to stay at one place. I like this tobacco area. Let me stay here only. I will reign here only. Cloud cannot make a choice like that. When the wind is moving, cloud has to move. It may go from Tobacco to New Jersey, or it may completely get destroyed by the movements of the wind. Similarly, our plans will get destroyed. The Lord in the form of time can destroy our plans, destroy our excitements and exhaustions. So, just like clouds helplessly move from one place to another place because of the movements of the wind, similarly the conditioned souls in this material world also have to experience so many struggles, pleasures and pains, success and failure, victory and defeat by the plans of the Lord. One who accepts those plans and executes them without holding any grudge or envy or negativity in the heart is a mature devotee, and such a devotee will eventually reach the lotus feet of the Lord. But one who becomes cynical, one who doubts Krishna's intentions, one who doubts Krishna's integrity, one who doubts Krishna's merciful attitude, one who holds so much of grudge or negativity in the heart, such people will have to continue their existence in this material world, only to experience more dualities in this world. Dvandva. That's the nature of this material world, to constantly suck us into dvandvas, dualities. But the nature of bhakti is to pull us out of those dualities. So whether we will be under the shelter of this maya or bhakti, we need to decide. That depends on how effectively we use our minute independence. We all have some minute independence, right? We need to utilize it to make a choice. Let me choose only bhakti. Let me come under the shelter of Krishna, not Maya. One more example. Let's go to third canto Bhagavatam. If I stuck in the first canto only, there are many examples. Parikshit Maharaj's example is there. Uttara's example is there. Draupadi's example is there. But let me go to third canto. With this we'll conclude. We are almost 1 hour. Vidura. In the third canto, first chapter of Bhagavatam, Vidura sees. Vidura goes to see Dhritarashtra and says, Dhritarashtra, now Pandavas went on exile. They went on exile and they came back from exile. But still your son, Duryodhan, is not inclined to return their rightful share of the kingdom. you should get rid of your son. Sa esha dosha purushadvidaste grihan pravishto yamapatyabatya. Sa esha dosha purushadvidaste. He is dosha personified. He is fault personified. He is sin personified. He has entered your home in the form of your son only to destroy all your reputation, only to defame you, only to destroy your dynasty. He hates Krishna. He hates Krishna's devotees. How can he survive? And when he is leading the show here in Hastinapur, how can Hastinapur survive? How can the Kuru dynasty survive? Get rid of your son. Return the rightful share of the kingdom to the Pandavas. Otherwise Bhima is hissing like a snake. He has already taken a vow that he will destroy your 100 sons. He will definitely fulfill that vow. Before he does it, you surrender to him. You surrender his kingdom to him. But Dhritarashtra, as usual, silent. Did not speak anything. This Vidura's instructions, Vidura Niti, is taken seriously by entire humanity. But that Vidura Niti is primarily meant for Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. They never took it seriously. Don't feel very surprised when people who are living with you don't take you seriously. Whole world will take you seriously, but the people where you are staying, they don't take you seriously. Does it happen sometimes? Huh? Did I crack a joke? You are laughing? It happens sometimes or all the time? Whole world may respect you. They say, Prabhuji, Prabhuji. But those who are next to you, they may not even look at you. Hey. इसको क्या पता है? इसको पूछ के कुछ फायदा नहीं. That is the treatment you may get from your own closer circles. Right? So Vidura got the same treatment. Whole world was taking Vidura Niti so seriously. People are writing books on Vidura Niti. Even now also you can find in even normal outside bookstalls, you'll find Vidura Niti. Vidura's suggestions. He's considered the most intelligent person, wise person. But all his suggestions and wisdom are primarily meant to benefit his brother Dhritarashtra the king and his son the prince Duryodhan. And Vidura is the minister. So minister's advice is primarily meant for the king and the prince, but except the king and prince, everybody is taking him seriously. King and prince never took him seriously. And now Duryodhan came there into the scene. He saw Vidura advising his father Dhritarashtra in this way. What is the advice? Essentially, give the rightful share of the kingdom back to the Pandavas. Then Duryodhan said, who asked this son of a maid servant, who asked this Dasi Putra to come here and give us an advice against our own interests, supporting our enemies? Get lost from here, Vidura. We banish you from Hastinapur. You have no right to stay in this kingdom. Vidura is not just a minister. Vidura is his uncle also. He is on the level of his father. But Duryodhan had no gratitude, had no respect, had no etiquette, had no culture. And his father Dhritarashtra is still keeping quiet. Not speaking a single word. Right? He's supposed to stop Duryodhan. Duryodhan, what nonsense are you speaking? How can you banish Vidura? Vidura has given his entire life for the service of the throne of Hastinapur. And you are banishing him? You are asking him to get lost? Although Dhritarashtra's eyes don't work, ears work, right? Mouth works, right? One sense is not working. One Jnanendriya is shut down since birth. But other Jnanendriyas are working, right? He could hear what Duryodhan said. And he has a tongue in his mouth. He can speak. He can speak something to stop Duryodhan and request Vidura to stay back. Arey, don't take his words seriously. He's young. He's overexcited. So you stay here. I'm the king. I'm telling you. You stay here. Please don't take it seriously. I'll return the rightful share of the kingdom back to the Pandavas. Please don't worry. He could have said that, but he didn't speak a single word. And that silence is an approval. Vidura standing there. Oh, my brother is not speaking. My king is not speaking. He's so indifferent. He is sitting here on the throne only to have me insulted by his son, who had no etiquette, who had no respect for an elder who is on the level of his father. So what did Vidura do? He just kept his bow and arrows at the doorstep of Hastinapur and he left from there. Nobody stopped him. Can you just imagine? Nobody stopped him. Sometimes you may spend your entire life to serve some people, but it may so happen that they don't have any love for you. They don't care for you. They pay no heed to your emotions. Even if you are leaving them forever, nobody will have the heart to come and stop you. If you are experiencing that, don't feel surprised. Vidura could experience that. We are not on the level of Vidura. Even he experienced that. What to speak of us? Nobody dared to stop Vidura. Vidura just left. He became like a mendicant, started wandering, traveling into different holy places of pilgrimage, taking bath in some rivers, taking darshan of some deities. He's just like a sage or like a mendicant, like a beggar. He's just wandering different places. No palace comforts, no position, no power. Within a fraction of a second, because of the arrogance and ego of one prince, Duryodhan, Vidura lost everything. Nobody came to rescue him. But how did Vidura take it? That's important. This experience may move you or shake you, as I can see your faces. But what should move us and shake us is what I am going to speak now. Vidura took it as Krishna's plan. Vidura accepted it as Krishna's wise decision to take him out of this politics of Hastinapur. Because when Vidura was continuing as the minister of this Hastinapur kingdom, it was his responsibility, it was his dharma to assist the king, assist the prince in their political activities. Now that he is banished, he has no such obligation. Bas ho gaya. Thank you for relieving me. Let me go on some pilgrimage, let me take some darshan of deities, let me hear some Srimad Bhagavatam from Maitreya Muni, let me meet some great souls like Uddhava, let me meditate on Krishna. I am relieved of all this politics. If Vidura sits there and then continues to do it, then probably that would be wrong on Vidura's part. Because as long as he is there, he is supposed to do things. Right? Supposed to assist them, supposed to advise the king. Although king doesn't accept the advice, he is supposed to advise the king because he is in a position. But now that he has been officially removed from that position, he has full license to take full shelter of Krishna. You understand this? Now there are smiles on the face because you see a side from a spiritual perspective. If you only see it from the material perspective, we get overwhelmed. Oh my God, itna अन्याय हो गया उसका साथ. Right? We get completely overwhelmed, isn't it? Vidura, when he was being banished, you know what Duryodhan said? As a remuneration for your lifelong service to the throne of Hastinapur, we are leaving the breath in your nostrils. Means we are not killing you. Otherwise, Duryodhan would have even killed Vidura also. Because of his ego, arrogance, lack of gratitude, lack of respect, he would have killed Vidura. But magnanimous Duryodhan Prabhu, out of his magnanimity, Mahavadanyaya mode or whatever, Bhuri Dajana mode, whatever, he left him alive so that the rest of Vidura's life can be spent in Krishna conscious activities. And Vidura took it as Krishna's plan. Vidura took it as Krishna's spiritual energy facilitating his spiritual practices for the rest of his life. I am not obliged to serve this throne of Hastinapur anymore. Thank God, they themselves relieved me. Vibhishan was also mistreated by Ravana. But Vibhishan himself rejected Ravana and he left. He went to Ram. And here is Vidura. He was rejected by Duryodhan and Vidura just left that place. Here Prabhupada writes a beautiful comment. He says that, my dear devotees, the two energies of the Lord are acting in this one incident. What are those two energies? Material energy and spiritual energy. The material energy or Maya of the Supreme Lord Krishna was acting on Duryodhan. And the spiritual energy, the internal potency of the Lord, is acting on Vidura through the same incident. What is the incident? Duryodhan banished Vidura. That's the incident. In 3 words, Duryodhan banished Vidura. That's the incident. But Duryodhan banished Vidura because of the material energy acting on Duryodhan, and also because of spiritual energy acting on Vidura. The material energy of the Lord is influencing Duryodhan and making him reject the good counsel of Vidura and make him more unfortunate. He is already unfortunate. So to make him more unfortunate, material energy influenced him, and Duryodhan lost this good counsel. Duryodhan lost this opportunity to continue to hear good advices from Vidura for his own welfare. That's how material energy paved a way for the destruction of Duryodhan. But through the same incident, the spiritual energy of the Lord, the internal potency of the Lord, she facilitated Vidura's banishment so that Vidura can take shelter of Krishna. Vidura can take shelter of some holy places and holy rivers and hear Srimad Bhagavatam from Maitreya Muni. 2 full cantos of Bhagavatam he heard. Entire 3rd canto and 4th canto of Bhagavatam was spoken by Maitreya Muni to Vidura. And he also could hear from Uddhava. First 4 chapters of 3rd canto are spoken by Uddhava to Vidura. And from 5th chapter of 3rd canto till the end of 4th canto, all these chapters were spoken by Maitreya Muni to Vidura. So Vidura could hear 2 full cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam from 2 great souls. And in these 2 cantos, there is a compact summary of the entire 10th canto of Bhagavatam spoken by Vidura, spoken by Uddhava to Vidura. Can you just understand the good fortune of Vidura? He is so fortunate. From a material perspective, if you see the situation, oh, Vidura ke saath itna anyay ho gaya. Vidura, so much of injustice happened to Vidura. And sometimes we imagine in his place, in his condition, and we say, oh, all the people around me are like Duryodhan and Dushasan and Karna and Sekuni and Dhritarashtra. But I am like Vidura. We imagine ourselves like that. Does it happen sometimes to you? Or did it happen sometime back? When I was describing this? We may put ourselves in Vidura's position, and we may think that people around me are like Duryodhan, Dushasan, etc. And mere saath anyay hua. All injustice happened to me. Because I am being deprived of some pilgrimage, some privileges. I have been banished. My position is taken away. My post is taken away. We may think like that. But we should not imagine ourselves to be in Vidura's position from a material perspective. Let us try to follow the footsteps of Vidura from the spiritual perspective. In this situation, what did Vidura do? He took shelter of Krishna. He understood that the Supreme Lord's internal energy, spiritual potency, is facilitating my spiritual practice. I have been relieved from this political game. Thank God. Let me just go and take shelter of Krishna. That's how we need to imagine ourselves as Vidura, or in the position of Vidura. Right? Every situation in life, every moment in life gives us an opportunity to take shelter of Krishna. It gives us an opportunity to develop or demonstrate a Vaishnava quality. Either detachment or humility or compassion or gratitude or devotion. We can develop these qualities, or we can demonstrate these qualities if we have them in every situation of life. every day, every moment in a day gives us a great opportunity to imbibe these Vaishnava qualities, to demonstrate these Vaishnava qualities, to see Krishna's hand in all our circumstances. You know what enables us to see Krishna's hand in all circumstances? By regularly hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Unless we know the example of Vidura, unless we hear all these explanations of how Vidura responded to different situations, how Narada Muni responded to different situations, how Yudhishthira Maharaj and Bhishma and many other great devotees responded to calamities in their lives, how Ambarish Maharaj responded to a calamity in his life, how Prahlad Maharaj responded to different calamities in his life. Unless we hear all this on a regular basis and regularly remind ourselves of these lessons coming from great souls, where is the possibility of exhibiting these qualities? Jai Shri Shri Gauranga Bhagavan ki jai. Sitaram Lakshman Bhagavan ki jai. Hare Krishna. So we need to hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly. Srimad Bhagavatam equips our consciousness with the necessary maturity to see misery as mercy of Krishna, to see calamity as care given by Krishna. When there's calamity, please understand Krishna is caring for me. How is this calamity Krishna's care? Don't get confused. Through that calamity, Krishna is teaching us the art of detachment. If that calamity is not there, probably we will be attached to this material world so much. Only because there is this calamity, we can develop some detachment from this material world. And we develop some attachment towards Krishna. Because materially comfortable situations in life make us forget Krishna, make us very complacent in spiritual life, make us very attached to our prosperity, power, position, etc. But only materially uncomfortable situations give us profuse opportunities to take shelter of Krishna, to become more and more detached. So let us utilize every calamity as an opportunity to intensify our dependence on Krishna, to increase our absorption in Krishna, to improve our remembrance of Krishna, and to develop detachment from this material world. This is how we can see Krishna's hand in all circumstances of life. Thank you very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Should we stop now? Aarti is happening. I can take, but what's the protocol during Aarti? Is there some kirtan? Huh? Oh, silent Aarti. Okay. Hare Krishna. Prabhu, are you satisfied? Just before coming here, he told me, I asked him, what should I speak? He said, speak on anger control. Okay, fine. Then within a minute, he changed his mind and said, Prabhu, you speak on how to see Krishna's plan in our lives. Right?
Jai, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Yes. You had a question? Yeah. Do we have a second mic? Yeah.
It's on. It's on. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your wonderful teaching. I'm very grateful. I have a question that as a practitioner, practicing devotees, we understand and we want to accept the difficulties as a mercy of Krishna, and we're trying to see that way. But to ask for more calamities might be a little far out, you know.
No need to ask.
But there's plenty, I know.
Yeah.
It's like a shower.
We should not imitate great souls. So let's not imitate Kunti Maharani. But whatever calamities come of their own accord, at least let them induce some detachment in us, induce some devotion in us. Let them accept as Krishna's plans and see how we can improve our Krishna consciousness in those situations.
Right.
You may not have the bandwidth to pray for more calamities. If you can, wonderful, please go ahead. let's follow in Kunti Maharani's footsteps. But if you don't have bandwidth, at least let's accept the calamities the way they are coming.
Correct. But I wanted to continue that. Can you please elaborate on the sentiment of Mother Kunti, why she asked for more calamities? That
Yes.
a little bit more.
Now the next question is, why did she ask in the first place? Actually, Kunti Maharani did not ask for more calamities. Her actual prayer is, Krishna, I want more darshans. If calamity gives me an opportunity for your darshan, then I want calamity. She's not a calamity lover. You may like roses, or you may like rasgullas, or you may like pizzas, and she likes calamities. It's not like that. Kunti Maharani is not a lover of difficulties, she's a lover of Krishna. When she said, Vipadaha santu taha shashvat tatra tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yasyata punarbhava darshanam. Vipadaha santu taha shashvat, let these calamities come again and again, because bhavato darshanam yasyat, because during every calamity you came and protected us, you came and helped us. We remembered you. When Draupadi was stuck there, Narada Muni and 10,000 disciples were waiting for meals, and Draupadi did not have a single grain to feed them. She prayed to Krishna in such a calamity. Then Krishna immediately came there and said, Draupadi, I am very hungry. And Draupadi brought that Akshay Patra, and Krishna found one little grain in a corner of that Akshay Patra pot, and he ate it. And Narada Muni and all the 10,000 disciples felt as if they have taken a 20-course feast and filled their bellies up to the neck or nose, and they are unable to move, they are belching, rolling on the ground. So this is how Krishna protected the Pandavas. And Kunti Maharani was remembering all those incidents and saying that whenever we had some difficulty, Krishna, we got an opportunity to take your darshan. If calamity gives us an opportunity to take your darshan, we invite even calamities, no problem. The focus is not on calamity. Focus is on Krishna's darshan. Bhavato darshanam yasyata punarbhava darshanam. When we take darshan of Krishna, the point. Thank you very much. Second, third, fourth question. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, you can ask. Mic is in your hand already.
That's why I was sitting with the mic in my hand. Thank you so much. Such an inspiring talk. My question was, we've heard from Krishna, and then Prabhupada writes in the 6th chapter of Gita that wherever we finish our bhakti in this life, we continue from that point onwards in the next life. But yet in the story of Narada Muni, before he was born as that 5-year-old, son of the maidservant, apparently he was not in a great spiritual consciousness. He was singing mundane songs in the company of the fairer sex, in a spiritual gathering, which kind of seems really disrespectful, not just basic spiritual consciousness, but bad spiritual consciousness. But then in the next life, he gets such advanced consciousness that he's so sober, he's serving the Vaishnavas, and he's hearing from them, getting their Mahaprasad. So is this to be counted as like Krishna can do anything, so he can take us from 3% to like 75% in our next life? Is that how we should understand it?
This is the power of sadhu sangha. Although a conditioned soul has to transmigrate from one body to another body, one species to another species, according to this evolution of consciousness, whenever a sadhu intervenes into this natural progression, the conditioned soul is promoted to a much, much higher level of consciousness. He may skip several species also. So that is the power of the Bhaktivedanta sages. That whole evolution of that little child's spiritual consciousness is a result of sadhu sangha, association of Bhaktivedantas. That's so. When Prabhupada came to the West, so many people who had no connection with the Vedic culture, connection with Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita or Vrindavan, their consciousness is so uplifted that they become such exalted Vaishnavas, right? There may be some past life memories or background also, right? We don't deny that. But at the same time, Sadhu Sangha, the power of Sadhu Sangha to uplift the consciousness of someone who is Mrigari. Mrigari, you see, he was a hunter. He was not fully killing animals also. He was half killing animals and taking pleasure in the pain of a half-dead animal. Such a cruel hunter became so transformed as a pure Vaishnava because of Narada Muni's intervention. And even that lady who is appointed by Ramachandra Khan, that bad lady, she came to disturb the tapasya of Dharidas Thakur. He was chanting and she came to distract him, deviate him, defame him. With that malicious intention she came, but within 3 days, 3 nights, she became a pure Vaishnavi. That's the power of Sadhu Sangha. One's background doesn't matter. One may have a haunting past, but one can have a promising future if there is Sadhu Sangha. That's the power of Sadhu Sangha. Association of devotees.
Prabhupada says that in Namam Vishnuti Namoda, in the purport, Prabhupada says this, that all those people who have these Vishnutis, still with the help of your devotee, they can uplift.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My question is, for devotees, we can accept it as Krishna's plan when calamities occur. But when we know some dear one who are not in the path of bhakti yet, at that time of calamity, when we say this is Krishna's plan or accept it, it may not feel appropriate. What do we do then? Like
Karma. In the case of a devotee, it's Krishna's plan. In the case of someone who is not practicing bhakti, it is simple karma. When they have done good deeds, they will have good karma. When they have done bad deeds, they will have bad karma. And everybody has to face the consequences of their good and bad deeds.
Is there a way for them to introduce to bhakti in that point of time? How?
Artha bhakti. Arto jignasur artharthi gnani cha bharatarshabha. Many people come to the lotus feet of Krishna when there is arti, when there is distress. Gajendra took shelter of Krishna when there is distress only. So, when there is distress, people want some relief. They are relief seekers. So, to get relief from their material miseries, they take shelter of Krishna. Everybody may not take shelter of Krishna also in their difficulties. They think God doesn't exist. Why? Because I am facing difficulties. As if God's job profile is only to destroy your difficulties, only to fulfill all your desires. They may become more cynical, they may become more atheistic. But there are some people who have some little pious background or whatever, they may take shelter of Krishna. So when somebody is struggling, you can always go and advise them, please take shelter of Krishna, please chant Hare Krishna. At least they may begin to chant Hare Krishna, at least for some peace of mind. Like many college preaching endeavors come with stress management seminar. Okay, do mantra meditation and manage your stress. That's how they begin. But this mantra meditation or chanting Hare Krishna is not just meant to relieve us from stress. It's meant to give us Krishna prema. But this could be a beginning step because they are in stress. They want to manage stress. So we somehow or the other give them Hare Krishna Mahamantra or the process of Bhakti Yoga or some Krishna conscious philosophy so that they can deal with distress because they are focused more on the byproduct, not on the main product. Relief from stress is a byproduct of Bhakti, but attaining Krishna Prema is the main product. But someone who is more interested in byproduct, you show them the byproduct first and introduce the process. When they become little more mature, show them the main product. Even while practicing bhakti, you have to experience calamities. Oh, you have come to bhakti to relieve yourself from calamities, welcome. And after some time, welcome to more calamities. Right? Aho kashtam, aho nyayam yudhuyam dharmanandana. Oh, I thought bhakti will relieve all distresses. Bhakti will not relieve distresses. Bhakti will not relieve you from all distresses. Bhakti will give you the ability to endure those distresses. Bhakti will give you the capacity to not get overwhelmed by those distresses. Bhakti will not stop rain. In monsoon season, there will be rain. Similarly, in the material world, there will be difficulty. Even if you practice bhakti, even if you don't practice bhakti, there will be difficulty. But bhakti will give us an umbrella. Right? Monsoon is there everywhere. It's raining heavily. But if you take an umbrella, you will not become wet. Similarly, miseries are there in the material world everywhere. Hare Krishna. Gaurnitai Bhagwan ki jai. So miseries are there in the material world everywhere. But bhakti gives us an umbrella and protects us from being overwhelmed by those miseries. That's what we can say. When they are little grown up in bhakti. Thank you. 9 o'clock, how many more questions we should take?
One more.
One more. One more and that's my question. Yes, Prabhu.
So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for a nice instruction. So my question is, you explained many pastimes, and there are many pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam about the calamities happening to advanced devotees. And at our level also the calamities do come, right? So we may not be advanced, but still the calamities come. So my question to you is, Rupa Goswami says that even at sadhana bhakti there is a kleshagni. And Prabhupada also gives an example, instead of accident you might get a finger cut, something like that, right? So why don't we see these type of examples in Srimad Bhagavatam, which gives more inspiration for us to practice rather than calamities after calamities?
Bhagavatam gives the example of fruit vendor getting a bag full of jewels also, and Bali Maharaj losing everything also. Bali Maharaj lost everything. By giving charity to Vamandev, he became bankrupt. And by giving just a few fruits to Krishna, this fruit vendor got a bag full of jewels. By giving just one handful of flat rice to Krishna, Sudama got a big palace. And Avanti Brahman lost everything. Right? So, Bhagavatam presents all kinds of examples. We have seen devotees who are very prosperous. We have seen devotees who underwent so many difficulties. Yes, the examples of devotees who underwent so many calamities may be little more compared to devotees who are always having a very peaceful time in Bhagavatam. That's more, definitely their number is more. But that's what tells us the reality of this material world. Even if you are a pure devotee, still material world is full of problems. You have to experience misery in this world, right? Even when Krishna descended on this planet and living in Dwarka, he was misunderstood by Dwarkavasis only. He was blamed by, who is that, Satrajit. He was attacked by Duryodhan. He was envied by Shishupal. He was hated by Jarasandha. Even Krishna was not liked by people in this material world when he was here. How can we expect ourselves to be liked by everyone? How can we expect ourselves to have a happy life, prosperous life in a place of pain, right? So even when pure devotees are undergoing so many difficulties, that reveals us the reality of this material world, and also that gives us another important message. Even if my pure devotees undergo hundreds and thousands of calamities like this, even in my personal presence, they don't give up faith in me. Krishna wants to give this message. They take my shelter only. Uttara, she lost her husband Abhimanyu in Kurukshetra battle, isn't it? Did Krishna protect Abhimanyu? No. Krishna allowed Abhimanyu to die. But Uttara never complained on Krishna. She was a very young girl, maybe in her teens. She was pregnant also at that time. But when Ashwatthama released a Brahmastra to kill the little child Parikshit Maharaj in Uttara's womb, Uttara came running to Krishna only. Pahi pahi mahayogin deva deva jagatpate na anyam tadabhayam pashyet yatra mrityuhu parasparam. Pahi pahi mahayogin. O deva deva, o jagatpati, o mahayogi, please protect me. Protect my son. Even if you kill me, no problem. Let my son survive. That's this mother's prayer. She never said, this Krishna never protected my husband Abhimanyu. Will he protect my son Parikshit now? Let me find another god. She never said like that. She has complete faith. To demonstrate the faith of pure devotees, Krishna exposes even pure devotees also to suffering. What to speak of practicing devotees? They anyways have to suffer because of their anarthas and aparas. And what to speak of materialistic people? They have to suffer because of karma. But even pure devotees suffer, and that gives us two important messages. One, material world is characterized by suffering, dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Second, pure devotees never give up their faith in Krishna even if they suffer. It's worth allowing pure devotees to face some calamities to give us these two messages. But on a much higher platform, please understand, this calamity is another opportunity for a devotee to experience Krishna's love. Just like when the child is very happy and healthy and playing so nicely, then the parents are happy and comfortable. Okay, our child is happy. But when the child gets fever, parents become more attentive to attend the needs of the child. Mother or father are constantly next to the child, taking care of the child, right? So at that time, child gets an opportunity to understand how much the parents love him, right? When the child is healthy, parents may not give so much of extra attention to the child. He is happily playing. But when the child is sick, then parents give extra attention to the child. Similarly, when pure devotees undergo difficulties, Krishna gives them extra attention. And devotee feels so much of sense of security and happiness. Oh, Krishna, you have come. Thank you so much. If Krishna keeps the devotees comfortable, the possibility of Krishna repeatedly coming and attending to their needs is very less. Right? Krishna could have kept Mother Bhumi always prosperous, always happy. But no, so many demons will increase and Mother Earth is troubled by all these demons and military forces. Then Mother Earth has to go and pray, oh Lord, please descend. Then the Lord comes as Rama or Krishna and relieves Mother Earth from all difficulties, and then Mother Earth becomes very happy. Right? That is rasa. Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says this is rasa perspective. There is an experience of rasa there. A devotee experiences rasa. Rasa is experienced in both Vipralambha and Sambhoga. Pain of separation and the joy of union. In both ways, rasa is experienced. You eat gulab jamun, you eat som papdi, you eat payasam, you eat, what is that another sweet? Waffle? It's called waffle? There's some honey. Waffle. Waffle. I don't know how to pronounce that sweets. You put some honey on it. You eat 5-6 types of sweets. Then somebody offers you 7th sweet. You can't relish it so much. But when you eat a chili and your throat is burning so much, Nayanam galadhashru dharaya vadanam gadgada rudhaya gira is happening to you. Then somebody gives you a sweet. Then you can relish it better. After a series of sweets, after eating 10 sweets, 11th sweet is, you cannot enjoy it. But after eating chili, mirchi, then you eat one sweet, that gives you so much of joy. Right? Similarly, if in a devotee's life, if there are only series of happy moments, successes, comfortable situations, it's monotonous, boring. If a devotee experiences some difficulties, then Krishna comes and relieves them from the difficulties. That creates some excitement. Right? All the directors, if the movie directors, if they write all their scripts with only happy moments from beginning to end, there is no conflict point, there is no turning point or calamity or difficulty or challenges faced by hero or heroine, etc., then that movie will not be successful. But for the movie to become successful, hit, super hit, blockbuster, etc., you need to have some twists and turns, some difficulties. If hero directly goes and slaps the villain dies, no maja. If there's a big fight for 10 minutes and then they break each other's limbs and they uproot some mountains and throw at each other, then hero is on the verge of death and somehow suddenly he comes up and then kills, that's the maja there. Right. So this is rasa. Prabhu said it's last question. So tomorrow early morning I have to catch a flight to UK, so I need to conclude here. Okay, let me take. Yeah, so enthusiastic.
You today explained two concepts. One is injustice and another one is suffering. And suffering, you mentioned that it's because of the whatever the karma, and injustice, someone really doing conspiracy against you. Right? So in both the situation, right, if a devotee is facing that situation, is it, take it as a karma, prarabdha karma, and then he's going through this trouble, or
Tatenu kampam sasamikshamaano bhunjana evatmakritam vipakam. You know this shloka? That's the answer to all questions. A devotee patiently endures all difficulties in one's life. Difficulties or injustices both in one's life. And hridvag vaparbhir vidadhan namasti. With their hearts, with their words, with their mind, with their body, they just offer obeisances to Krishna and practice bhakti. And such people are eligible to go back to Godhead. As if a child inherits the property of the father. That's what Bhagavatam says. 10.14.8. That's answer. Thank you very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.